For the measurement of dust, which occurs with emission gases, there are a large variety of measuring devices and providers. Measuring systems detect dust directly in the flow of gas by means of a measuring probe. The reliability of the measuring results is as varied as the measuring principles themselves. A large number of the devices available works according to the triboelectrical principle. SiC goes a different way. The measuring device series DUSTHUNTER SP30 uses the scattering light effect to register the dust concentration. The triboelectrical principle works in the principle that dust particles can be electrically charged for different causes. When the particles come together with the measuring probe, these charges create a current which is reinforced and displayed by measuring electronics. The measuring principle of the SiC DUSTHUNTER SP30 series is quite different. Here, a laser diode irradiates the dust particles within the gas flow. The light, which is scattered by the particles, is registered by a highly sensitive detector and converted to an electric current, the strength of which is directly proportional to the dust concentration. Both methods differ, however, not only with respect to the measuring principle. Even more important are the differences in the reliability of the measuring results, at often varying conditions in the gas flow and the changing composition of the dusts carried within it. Let us have a look, first of all, at how the measuring methods react to fluctuating speeds of currents. The triboelectric principle shows significant dependence of the measurement signal on the current speed in the exhaust duct. The value measured by the triboflow probe thus depends not only on the dust concentration presented in the image as the actual value, but also on the speed. This means that incorrect measurements are possible. Scattered light measurement by the DUSTHUNTER SP30, on the other hand, is not influenced by the current speed and supplies constantly correct measuring values. Electrical fields generated by electrical filters or other electrical systems in the production process also influence the charging of the dust particles. This is because changes in the charging of the particles have an effect on the exchange of charges in the triboelectrical probe. The measuring indicator also interprets these electrical influences incorrectly, for example, as an increase of the dust concentration. Because the DUSTHUNTER SP30 does not measure charges but the light scattered on the dust particles, the accuracy of this measurement is also not influenced by electrical effects. Because both probes measure the dust concentration directly in the dust current, dust sediment can form on the measuring probes. Dust sediment on the triboelectrical probe can falsify the measuring result. The more dust which is deposited, the greater the measuring value is influenced. At greater dust residue, the triboflow probe usually has to be removed and cleaned at an unforeseeable point of time. With the DUSTHUNTER SP30 series, this work is to a large extent unnecessary. Here the measuring optics are rinsed constantly with cleaner air and thus protected from contamination. Possible residue on the probe tube has no influence on the measuring result due to the principle of the scattering light measurement. The DUSTHUNTER SP30 thus supplies the more reliable measurement values in this case also. What occurs, however, when the triboelectrical probe is not checked and recalibrated regularly? Of course, it continues to measure, but the operator has no insurance that these values also correspond to the actual dust concentration. As in the triboelectrical processes, there is no possibility, for example, to check the linearity of the measuring system. The automatic self-test and straightforward linearity measurement are, on the other hand, no problem for the DUSTHUNTER SP30. In addition to the automatic self-test, the linearity of the DUSTHUNTER SP30 measurement on the spot can be simply checked by the plant operator himself. After removing the DUSTHUNTER SP30, the filters with desired values are put into the path of the rays. If the values agree with those measured by the DUSTHUNTER SP30, the device is in order. No further comparative measurements are necessary. While the DUSTHUNTER SP30 reliably determines the dust concentration, the measuring result with the triboflow probes is also dependent on the gas speed and charging of the dust particles. Incorrect measurements caused by this can lead to unnecessary shutdown of the plant or non-recognition of the limit values being exceeded. Apart from the associated internal company costs, further burdens are possible in the case of non-recognized disturbances, such as fines or claims for damages by affected neighbors. But this doesn't have to occur. Go for the better solution. For a clean environment, it is your responsibility.